Hey, my chat wanted me to call you and ask if you have smallpox.
Yes.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
It's an eradicated disease. Did you bring it back?
No, it's not smallpox, it's a variation of it.
Why do you always do this to me, Chris?
Why? I'm exhausted.
Why are you exhausted? The
Because of
smallpox?
smallpox, cunt.
Yeah.
I'm the protagonist.
You're the protagonist.
Yeah.
You. It's bullshit. You're not the protagonist.
Shut the fuck up, yes I am, cunt.
You're the antagonist, cunt.
Oi.
Wow, that was pretty impressive, Chris. They're asking me to FaceTime you.
Nah, I'm not at the hospital, don't fucking call me. I'm going to bed. I'm naked, you can't show me naked.
I bet you actually are.
Could be. You don't know.
It does sound like you're on morphine. Chat, do you have any questions for Chris before we let him go? What is it like to have DZ as your boyfriend? Because I'm looking for one.
It's good. He fucks my ass. With his pixie dick.
Where do I get a DZ?
You get it from the sex shop.
Oh.
You just one of those things like you just put it into water and it becomes just place in water. That's
Like a
what you
fucking
are.
sea monkey.
You're like a sea monkey or one of those sponge things which you put into water and then it grows like 10 times the size.
Wow, I'm a sex monkey.
Why do you have Adam Sandler in your photo?
Why not? You have a problem with Adam?
Well, he's Jewish.
Is that a fucking problem?
No, it's not a problem, but he doesn't celebrate Christmas. Where's Christian? Where's Christian?
we have enough.
Wait. That's the origin of the Wes, you know.
That is actually the origins of the Wes. We used to.
Where's Christian?
We used to have a friend called Christian. And was it you or no? It was Alex. It was Alex.
It's Alexander Fatter.
It was Alex.
Every day they would, in the morning, Alex Fatter and Christian would talk about RuneScape every freaking morning. And one morning, Christian was home sick, and he goes to me and Anthony McCarthy and goes, "Where's Christian?" And so then ever since then, me and Anthony were like, "Where's Christian?"
That's law. That's really good form. That's a bit much.
That was just the demon part.
Yeah, because Alexander Fatter is a demon. Tell the story to the chat about the ghost. You saw a ghost, didn't you?
Oh, bruh, this is so fucking scary. I can tell you the story. The night this happened, Bree and I'm just going to tell you, Bree and I got no sleep at this Airbnb that we're at. It wasn't.
I want to hear it from Bree. I don't believe you.
She'll be able to validate it, but she'll recount it slightly different. I'll just tell you my version, and then another time, Bree can tell, because Bree's not available right now.
All right.
Okay, so we went to an Airbnb with friends. There was a group, there was like three couples and one spare. We all drove down in 2 cars. We go there for the first night. We're all like swimming, having fun. We all get
Group
high
sex.
and drink, and we're all having fun.
Group sex.
We didn't have group sex, no.
Why not?
So we were playing board games. Everything. We had dinner that night. We had like tacos. Everything went fine. I was like, I feel a bit weird about this house. Bree was like, no, I've got no weird vibes. But inside the bedrooms, there was these like old ass photos. Like ones of like a group of like a bloodline kind of old family photo.
You didn't tell me
creepy.
this.
Well, I didn't take a photo of it because it's genuinely a little bit creepy. But it's also like, is it really like a real one, or is it like a vintage one that is just to add to the vibe? So I'm just like, not too scared about it, but still getting a weird vibe from this house because it's like in the bush and like, I don't know, it just feels like there was wasps everywhere and there was like bugs everywhere, and it's like getting a bit of a vibe.
You know what it could be, Chris? It could just be like when you buy a picture frame, and then in that picture frame there's a family already.
But this, that's exactly what I was thought. That didn't freak me out too much. Anyways, and Bree was sleeping closer to that photo, so I'm like, it'll take her before it takes me. So I was like, that's fine. She's gonna get the shits first. Now, I know you've got no heart and no soul, like, so regardless, a demon isn't going to do anything with you because they're like, you're a shell. You're a fucking shell.
Mm.
So they're going to be like, what? Like, so it's fine. That's why you don't care. But, like, I've got life in me, man. A demon would love me, brother. Like, they would love me. Anyways, the next night is where this shit happened. Again, whole day went great. We tie-dyed. We fucking painted, or we
Group sex.
We'll go in the pool. We got getting like bit by mosquitoes. Still doing all that shit. Going fine. We made a mad roast lamb. But then at night time, it started getting dark, and it was after dinner. We played this game called Taboo. Have you heard of the game Taboo?
I've never played Taboo. I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
Great board game, but never playing it again because I just feel like it's not spooky. The game. It was my turn, and it's giving me chills talking about it because it was genuinely a supernatural experience. It's fun. We're in the dining room, and the kitchen is just opposite us. And then this little girl's voice, fucking from the kitchen, clearly speaks and says something along the lines of, this is where the story gets a bit, like, murky. Something along the lines of, hi, over here, kind of thing. Hello, over here. But not in an English accent either. But it was fucking clear, man. And then I stood up so quickly, and I swear to fucking God, I saw someone run past the whole house. There was a big long window. Someone run really quickly along the house, and I was spooked, and I couldn't fucking... Oh, it's terrifying, man. Just a thought. Now, it turns out that the speaker was still on in the kitchen. We had a music speaker, but no one was connected to it. Reed's like, could it have been someone scrolling on Facebook? Could it have been that? Maybe. No one was on their phones. Like, and I swear, like, if you've ever had a supernatural experience, it freaks you the fuck out. It was a little girl speaking. It was so clearly, and it polarized us all. We all stopped in our tracks.
Maybe.
Anyways, that's where the story ends, and we didn't sleep at all that night. We literally went to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. We went to bed at 11. We couldn't sleep for 4 hours, Bree and I. And we left the light on all night in the bedside. We were fucking freaked out. It was creepy.
Could it have been somebody outside the house, like a kid saying hi over here to their parents?
No, so it was late at night. It would have been about 10:30, so it wouldn't have been a real person. But what I did think is literally someone could have come up to our house, connected to our Bluetooth speaker, played a creepy sound, then piss bolted away. That seems a bit elaborate. It seems like a lot of work.
It sounds really elaborate because they would have to know that there's a speaker in there.
But you have to pair it. You got to pair it though, don't you?
Yeah. Did you bring like a Ouija board?
We didn't bring a Ouija board, no.
You could have asked it. You could have been like, "What do you want, cunt?"
No, that's pretty much a seance. A Ouija board is pretty much a seance. Dropping the veil between the spiritual world and ours. It's genuinely fucking freaky, and you should never do it. My dad did it as a kid, and a glass got thrown across a table, genuinely. Blake is not a skeptic. I wouldn't call him a complete skeptic, but you are very, like, chill to that kind of realm of thinking, and also making light of it, because it really fucks me up. So it actually makes me feel a bit better that you're just like, it's nothing, have a joke about it.
It's like with the Ouija board as an example. Jess just said, fuck Ouija boards, don't fuck with that shit. My first line of thinking is there any confirmed case of somebody, like, okay, I understand your dad said that glass shot across the room. He might be right, he might be wrong, we don't know that. He knows that.
As well.
Exactly. It could be a warped vision of what happened.
I agree with that.
But is there any confirmed case of somebody dying or being harmed in a Ouija board incident?
I think there's been possessions.
But are they just putting it on?
I don't necessarily believe in possession. Bree's gotten me into a lot of podcasts and stuff where they analyze actual real world possessions and stuff. People being possessed, and there's like all those cases. I'm not like a huge believer in it. I think there's a lot of science that needs to be done around mental health. But when they start speaking in tongue, that's pretty interesting. And like Latin, and they've never spoken Latin before, or Hebrew, they start speaking those. That's pretty interesting. Bree's saying she spoke in tongue at Jesus came to the pre-pressure. So it can happen. What I'm going to say, Blake, is that night, when I went away, everyone heard a little kid's voice. And whether it's a speaker or whatever the case is, when that shit happens to you, it really kind of warps what you believe.
Well, I've told you this story, I'm pretty sure, and I've definitely told the chat, but I have one ghost story, and it did make me for a very long time believe in it. But at the same time, my immediate logical thinking about it is it was probably just a dream. I don't know if you remember it, but I was in the old place before I lived with you.
Yes, you told me this, and yes, that's right.
Yeah. So just to explain to the chat real quick. So
people who haven't heard it before, it's a really good story.
Yeah. So I moved into this place in a suburb called Redfern, and Redfern's not the most amazing area. It's kind of run down a little bit. It's getting better, but like you kind of, especially like maybe 15, 20 years ago, you kind of want to avoid Redfern. The place where I was living, the guy that I got the room from, the first night that I was staying there, like as I was moving things in, he was basically like, oh, and watch out for the ghost. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're just like fucking around with me. He showed me this picture in the lounge room of the supposed ghost. It was this old man in like a hat and suit.
Yeah.
And basically, nothing happened for the first 2 or 3 months, right? But he told me that the room that I'm staying in is the ghost's room. I went to sleep one night a couple months later. I heard something, and I woke up, and I'm just going to cut to the chase. Basically, I looked at my door, and I noticed that the door was open, and I always close my door.
You do, yeah.
I looked at the door, and I just stared at it for a little while. It would have been like 10, 15 minutes of me just staring at it. And during that 10, 15 minutes, I could see this old man just like peering into the room.
That's so creepy, dude.
And it looked exactly like the guy in the picture in the bottom floor, like in the lounge room where what I was telling you about. That guy told me that this is the ghost.
That's right.
And he didn't look angry. He just looked at me. He kind of smiled. I kind of just looked at him back.
Yeah.
Just watched for a little bit. And then the next thing I know, I'm waking up in the morning. So that's what makes me think it was just a dream. But at the same time, it felt extremely real.
It could have been sleep paralysis. It could have been Tim playing a prank on you as well. But the whole kind of, you watched it, then you went to, like, you woke up straight after it kind of thing, or that, whatever you just said. Like, I don't think it was Tim playing a prank on you. But it does sound a bit like a hazing process. Like, oh, there was this murder that happened here, and then when the person moves in, then you've got the costume, and you show them an old photo that you photoshopped, and then, like, you tell them about the story of the murder, and then, like, 2 months later, not like that same night, but 2 months later, things start happening. It's a good hazing process.
In the residency next door, he was a serial killer. He would keep babies in his, like, dead babies in his basement. Eventually, he was caught, put in prison, and he died.
Yeah.
And I lived in that house, in his apparent room. Jess says that she knows about it, apparently.
If you can find an article, send it over to me, or Blake. I wonder if I can read more about it, because it's creepy as fuck.
Jess just linked me something. Looking at that picture, I actually, like, teared up a little bit.
Okay. Oh, so you do feel shit, bro. You do feel shit. Good.
That actually looks a lot like what I remember.
And McDonaldton, or McDonaldtown or whatever, that's actually in, Sydney. That's
a small outdoor station between Redfern and Newtown. It's a pre-Federation Australian true crime story about a diabolical husband and wife who were willing to murder a hell of a lot of helpless, innocent babies for money.
Oh my god.
Meet Sarah and John Macon. They were baby farmers in Sydney in the late 1800s. They adopted babies into their care and killed them. They would bury the bodies in the backyards or hidden in the pipes of the rental properties that lived in throughout various suburbs of Sydney.
Oh, fuck, bro.
Then the couple would move houses quickly and quietly in the night to dodge rent and evade suspicious landlords. It all came to a head in 1892 when a house they had been renting, 25 Burren Street in McDonaldtown, needed a desperate renovation after the pair had once again abandoned it in the night to move to Chippendale. Renovators made the sickening discovery, the body of 2 infants. They remained stuffed in a clogged pipe underneath the Burren Street residence.
That's disgusting.
Those are the type of houses that I used to live in.
very similar to that. Exactly, very similar. The house you stayed in could have very well been one of the houses they were staying at. It says in the doc in this thing that they frequented many places in that area.
Yeah. I just can't get over this guy's face looks a lot like what I remember.
That's creepy.
That's pretty fucked.